Vlogmas day 22, we are going back to the classics. The video idea I originally had for today took a back seat. I shared a post yesterday about the classic plants, and so many of you chimed in, and it got me thinking. When Christmas comes around, I naturally gravitate towards the classics, the red and green colors, the music, the old movies. Just yesterday, watching Miracle on 34th Street. I feel like I watch that movie every year. I love it. Those classics always bring me back to a feeling of love and comfort. I have that same feeling with my classic plants. So in the spirit of the Christmas season, I am sitting down today and having a chat with you about the plants you mentioned in the YouTube post yesterday. I added a few of my own as well. Sometimes when we look at those classic plants, we always go back and think about why we fell in love with plants in the first place. It is early here. It's a little after 7. Some of my grow lights just started turning on while I was talking. I will add B-roll of the plants once I get more light, but we're just gonna have a sit down and chat about some of these plants. I think I like these sit down and chat videos every once in a while, not all the time, but it's just, I feel it's a little calming. I mean, definitely for me, I don't know, it's like having a little morning chat with one of your friends about plants. Anyway, first plant I'm going to talk about is the Hoya Crimson Queen. So yesterday when I took that plant out to water, I usually don't take it out to water. I took it out for the video because I wanted to keep my camera in one place instead of moving it around. So I took the plant out to water while I was sharing, and I just really took a good look at it, and it's so beautiful. I'm like, when did you get this beautiful? You were beautiful when I got you, but man, you are just gorgeous. I need to take out my plants more often and take a good look at it. But that Hoya Crimson Queen is so beautiful. It's very elegant. It is a true classic. The creamy pink and white variegation just shows up on the plant. Sometimes you get all white leaves, sometimes a little bit of green in the leaves, and then the plant will go all green again. It grows very well, and it is a timeless beauty. And with all those other trendy Hoyas out there, this one actually still stays #1. There are some rare Hoyas out there that looks like the Crimson Queen with a little more variegation and 20 times more of the price. I think when I first got my Crimson Queen, I paid $10 for it from an Etsy seller many years ago, and the plant has just done so well. So the next plant I'm going to talk about, Daphne, you mentioned this plant in the post, the Marble Queen Pothos. This plant is just perfect for any collector, a beginner and a seasoned collector. I feel like I'm in the middle of, I'm not a beginner, but I'm not so seasoned. I'm in the middle, and that plant still takes my breath away when I look at it. The marbling of the leaves always looks so pretty and then thrives with minimal fuss. And then because of it being so minimal, with care, I tend to neglect it. And, you know, one of the things I did learn this year is if you want your plants to thrive, you really do have to pay attention to it. Last year, I had that Marble Queen Pothos and it died because I neglected it too much. And I did buy another one, and this one's thriving because I'm giving it a little bit more attention. You know, it's one of the plants that actually prove that classic plants is never boring. I mean, looking at it and comparing it to one of those variegated monsteras, the coloring always to me looks the same. I love it. Love the Marble Queen Pothos. I think I'm always gonna have that in my collection. And now that I'm taking better care of it, it's actually thriving. So I'm glad I have that in my collection. The next plant, the Philodendron Brazil. For me, I love seeing that lime green somewhere on the leaves. It's also a very reliable plant and can take a beating because I've neglected that plant so much and it's done so well for me. But again, if you want your plants to thrive, you have to give it some attention. That's what I did this year with that plant, and it's just grown so much. The Heartly Philodendron as well. I look at that plant and It just doesn't give me a lot of trouble, and it just produces beautiful leaves. I love when a plant has like a really deep green leaf. I just think that's just so beautiful. It grows in almost any condition because that plant is actually known as an office plant. So a lot of offices have this plant because of the minimal care and lighting it needs. A plant like that, you look at it and it's like you don't have to have a rare plant to have a beautiful plant. The next plant somebody mentioned in the post is the Hoya obovata. Oh, I am in love with that plant, honestly. I got that plant last year. Was it this year or last year? I don't remember. I think I got it this year. Why did I not have this plant in my collection before? The plant just completely changed when it came into my care and started giving me better growth than when the grower had it. And it just looks the deep green and then the speckling. All of a sudden, I have speckling on the leaves. It's changed so much. It's rewarded me with some beautiful foliage. I do want to try and bloom this plant next year. If you have an obovata and haven't had blooms yet, let's try to do this together next year. This will be fun. I think I'll probably gather some Hoyas in a video and maybe do a journey video with you guys where I tell you I'm going to try to bloom this and go through my experiment and see if I could do it. And then at a few months after that, we can just see the results if it did work. So some Hoyas, we know that they grow kind of slow, but when they do produce growth in the growing season, the leaves, stunning. It's just very rewarding to have that. And then once the winter comes, you get to enjoy all the foliage that you did grow in the growing season. The next one is the Hoya pubicalyx, a very forgiving Hoya. It does so well. The foliage is reliable. It grows so fast for me. So then when it blooms, when you get a bloom on this one, okay, so I know it doesn't smell great. Okay, we know. But you have to really get up close to it to find out how bad it smells. But it is so stinking beautiful. It is one of the most beautiful Hoya blooms I have. And it lasts about 2 weeks. Carnosa gives you that really light pink, but the pubicalyx give you that darker purpley bloom. So beautiful. It's definitely one of my classics and I love it. The next classic I'm going to talk about is actually not one of my favorites, but it's the Hoya carnosa. It is not really one of my favorite Hoyas, and I think it's because I fell in love with the Hoya compacta. I fell in love with the Hoya Crimson Princess and Crimson Queen, but actually the Hoya carnosa is my gateway Hoya. That plant kind of set me up to get Hoyas, and I think that is the case for a lot of people because you can find this Hoya in big box stores. So it's actually the plant that started the whole thing with blooms. So the first thing I will say about the carnosa, the regular normal Hoya carnosa is tough. It is reliable, full of nostalgia, because definitely when we talk about this plant, we do talk about how this is the plant that got me started with Hoyas. So the next one I will talk about, Natalie, you talked about this one, the lemon lime maranta. That plant is so beautiful. It actually looks fake when it's like really grown up. A lot of people who are not into plants have looked at my plant and said, I think that's a fake plant. It's a plant that's just so bold and bright and full of movement because it's a maranta. It moves up, it moves down, it has so much personality. So I had a really big lemon lime maranta and it got spider mites. I caught it too late. I did end up throwing most of that plant away, but I kept some cuttings and it's trying to revive. It is a struggle. It is a struggle. I'm hoping to get it revived. If I don't get it revived by next year, I'll probably buy another one. It is definitely a plant that I always want to have around. So the next plant I want to talk about is tied to, I feel, a lot of memories because the memories are from the holidays. It is the Thanksgiving cactus. Because you give the Thanksgiving cactus or the Christmas cactus a little bit more care during the holiday season because you want to get blooms. And because it's already tied to the holidays, there's lots of memories attached to that plant. It's the perfect plant to make an heirloom plant. I've seen this plant in plant stories where they've inherited this plant from their grandmother or another member of their family. It is the perfect plant to just pass down. I would pass this plant down to other friends of mine that don't have this plant because it just does so well. The classics are just reliable. And my Thanksgiving cactus blew up in growth this year. And right now I have a lot of flowers. Very thankful for that. When I think about some of these classic plants, I think about memories. I feel like the Marble Queen pothos, it just brings me back to when I started collecting in the first place. The Crimson Queen, again, bring me back to when I first bought that plant. I think like when I saw it on Etsy, it was a cutting and I'm like, I think I want to try that. Look at the white on the edge. I think it's just very beautiful. And then all of a sudden you have a big bushy plant. When you look at the classics now and your plant is very big, you can actually see all the hard work you put in for that plant. There's times where we go through our plant hobby. It's like lots of ups and downs in this hobby because we have a life outside of plants. Some of these classic plants, they kind of roll with it, kind of go through the ups and downs of our emotions with us and still do well. So yeah, these classics are classics for a reason. I would like to talk about some more classic plants in upcoming videos. Maybe we need to bring back the classics for 2026. I would like to hear about some of your classic plants and the story behind it, because every classic plant do actually have a story attached. I'd love to hear yours. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching this sit down and chat video about the classics. I'm excited that today, did I even say Vlogmas? Oh my gosh, what is Vlog? Okay, Vlogmas day 22, we are going back to the classics. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy the rest of your day, and always remember you are loved.